my live last week, I had somebody there, and the idea was we were going to be able to have conversation about what I was doing, but I never turned her microphone on. I swear. I was dead. Sometimes when I sit in front of my computer and it takes me 3 hours to figure out the simplest thing, I'm like, I was definitely not destined to be anybody that works on computers. And I'm clearly not destined to be a videographer. So, this horse thing doesn't work out. I don't know what I'm going to do. But you are turned on. Hi. Hi. Aw, look at your nose. You're okay.
Yeah, it's one of his many beauty marks.
And it just looks raw, or it is raw?
It just has looked like that since we... So this one and the one on his left hind, they got like so big that we actually cut them off and injected them. And then that's kind of how it's looked ever since. It's slowly getting bigger. But that one is not, knock on wood, because that one was the one that was like trying to take over his whole leg.
Oh.
So, and then he has one on his jaw over here. That's kind of gross. And a couple on his neck over here.
Did they tell you what is that called? And then did they tell you how it starts?
Sarcoid.
Okay.
So, she said it can start from a cut, from, they can just get them. It's a cow. It's actually like a cow. I don't want to say papilloma, but it's like a cow something. So, I don't really actually, I don't think they even have to be around cows to get them.
Hi. How are you? So where did he come from? And what's his story, if you know it?
So I saw him online. He was kind of at like an in-between, like not,
So he was at the Save from being shipped away
I don't know
place?
if the guy is a kill buyer, but I know he doesn't have a good reputation after looking to him online, you know, after the fact.
I would almost guess I know who it is.
So he was in Virginia.
Oh, nope, I wouldn't. Okay.
Okay. He was in Virginia, and I saw him online, and I said, you know what? He's cute, and he looks sad. And so I took him. And then I sent him to a quarantine place. I think that place was also either Virginia or maybe Northern Maryland. But there, I contacted the guy, and I saw he had a little cut on his back leg, and so I was like, hey, can we have that? You know, I want his Coggins. Like, I just basically want him, like, completely checked over. Yeah, no problem. Well, then apparently they couldn't catch him. If they did catch him, he wasn't halter broke. He was jumping through fences, breaking through fences. When he would jump over the fences, they'd have to chase him with a four-wheeler because he would just run away. Like, basically, he was unhandleable.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll come get him. And he was like, well, you're going to need a stock trailer, and we're going to have to run him on. So I was like, okay, let me figure it out. So I don't even know how long he ended up staying there. It was over a month. I ended up hiring a shipper to bring him to me, and she was like, he walked right on the trailer. Like, he walked right on. He's ridden fine. He got here. He walked right off. The next day, he was following me around like a puppy dog, and I sent a video to the guy, and I was like, is he mean? Should I be worried? Like, he wants to be really close to me. And he was like, no, I don't know. I guess maybe his attitude's changed.
Maybe he just doesn't like rough and tough guys.
So that was kind of where we started.
How is he with your boyfriend?
Actually, okay. I mean, my boyfriend doesn't spend a whole lot of time with them, but when they're at the fence line, he'll pet them.
Okay, so he's not like unmanageable for men either.
No, and he actually, so before that got really bad, I did send him to a trainer because I wanted him to be trained and I wanted him to find his forever person. He wasn't supposed to stay. So he went to a guy, and I do like the guy, but his sarcoid just got out of control in the first 30 days, so he had to come home. So, and that was the last time he had his feet done, and that was a few months ago. So we need to work on, now he of course doesn't like that leg touched or picked up, so I got to work on all that, so that way we can now get his feet done again and stuff.
They look good for not having been, how long has it been? They look good for not having been done.
It's been probably going on 3 months.
Yeah, I would, honest to God, I would never, like, I check feet. That's one of the first things I look at to kind of like gauge the ways people are caring for their horses.
There's like a couple cracks. And
I see that, but
they've like cracked off on their own. Like they were getting a little ugly, but I don't know. Maybe he just keeps his feet nice.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have been like, I wouldn't have been screaming neglect. you know, by visual. And I'm not saying it either, but
yeah, I feel like if he thinks you have
handsome.
treats, or like he can be very pushy and stuff, but I just don't feel like, I don't know, he's just very different than my other horses, and I feel like I'm having a hard time maybe just reading his personality.
He's very friendly, but friendly on his own terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like, well, if you want to come see me, we'll talk about it, but I'm going to approach you first. Like, you know, he's hi. You're not sure about that smell. Well, let's see. What was that? Ointment for an eye. So it probably doesn't thrill you, does it? Your hind yields, huh? Do you do hind yields? Or are you worried I'm going to touch that foot? Huh? All right, so let's try to have just our ABC conversation with him. So we're
Okay.
going to go ahead and just let him know that we can ask him to move his feet in a specific way. So we'll
Okay.
do the physical pressure stuff. He looks like he doesn't mind you being in his space, so we'll go ahead and do those. And if we can run right through those, and we'll do the rhythmic pressure stuff.
Okay.
And we'll just get some of the alphabet established here.
Doesn't matter what I start with or where I start.
I usually start with their front end because it helps me determine whether or not I'm dealing with a more dominant horse.
Okay.
If the front end is difficult to move, usually you're dealing with a more dominant horse.
Okay.
Even if it's only to you, he may not be dominant in the field, but he may believe he's more dominant over a human.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you usually start up here or at the shoulder?
We didn't do that with any of them?
We did with Trona because she didn't know anything, but
hers
was kind of like.
Okay, so nope, that's going to be the rhythmic.
Oh, okay, that's
okay. Rhythmic. So the physical pressure is going to be, we're actually going to touch him, and we're not going to allow him to assume. We're not going to like get ready to touch him and have him yield and be like, oh, cool.
Okay.
Because that's not what we asked for. We're asking for him to wait for us to touch him, to tell him what we want. So you're going to put one hand on his cheek and one hand on his shoulder. The cheek is going to guide his head around, and then the shoulder is going to support the idea of that. There. And we're going to look for him to cross over his feet, whether he crosses behind or in front. I don't care. Okay. I don't generally accept scoochy straddle steps because I don't feel like that's more than evasion. Okay. Right? This was a deliberate movement. This was, oh, okay, you know, get out of my space. Okay. Right? So I don't accept that as being something he learned. Okay. Okay, so go ahead and see if we can get him to cross over. He could cross from the front or behind. I don't care. Good. And quit. So we want to make sure that once we get that movement, so often it's like right as they place this foot down, I'll take my pressure off. Okay. Because generally speaking, they will finish that step. Okay. And when I took the pressure off, I just let them step off of me. But when you take the pressure off, you're teaching them that is all. So that way you don't accidentally encourage them to continue to move away from you. Because otherwise that's just something you have to, you know, re-explain later. So if you can explain it from the beginning, that's best. Okay. Good. Good. So far, I don't feel we need to jump into teaching them about the wiggle yet, because it doesn't seem like we have a lot of but don't go forward happening here. Okay, so we're going to do both sides. So we'll do the other side. No. Good. And we'll go ahead and do two more. Good. Sorry, bud. And he's already told me something, which I'll tell you in a minute. Yep, and then don't let his head come back. If he offers to put his head in the direction we're looking for, then we just provide a block so he doesn't come back. Good. This way he doesn't go this way, and you don't say, yeah, this way. When he does turn, you say, yep, that was right. Now we need the rest of you to move. Okay. Okay, so now, since you're up front, we'll go ahead and ask him for the step back. Okay, so we're going to put our hand on his chest and like dead center, And here's where you can introduce the wiggle if you want.
Okay.
When you can use it as support. So if you push, don't push, but put your hand there and suggest he step back from that pressure. And if he were not to, you can start to use the rope to help wiggle the snap to say, hey, I'm going to create a little energy here in front, and this is going to help introduce the wiggle as well. Yep, and stay with it until he steps back. And once he steps back, you can let him just step off of that pressure. Good. Excellent. Good. Okay, we're going to do another one.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. And that was a bigger effort on his part. So what I'm going to tell you he's already said is, I know some of this stuff.
Okay.
Okay. That second step was I'm just rusty. So watch, this next step should be a strong backward step as well. Right, and he's prepared to keep going if you were to ask him. So go ahead and ask for 2 steps. He's not actually giving me the impression that this is his first rodeo. Good. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do the hind yields, which are going to be physical pressure hind yields.
Okay.
And it would be where your leg would be able to reach if you're in the saddle.
Okay.
But you want it to be a definite, like not just where your right leg rests while you're riding. You want it to be a deliberate cue. So it would be a little bit behind where your leg would normally rest.
So back here?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you're going to tip his nose slightly towards you to help a little bit for that movement. And again, I don't think this is the first time he's been asked to do certain yields. So stay with him until you get that crossover. And I definitely go there. I definitely go for the crossover, and I don't do for straddle steps in the hind end for 2 reasons. One, because shuffling also does appear more like they're evading, and you're rewarding the evasion instead of a direct command. But also the reason that I do the crossovers is if you have a horse that doesn't know how to do that on command, and he's panicking, he's rearing, he's bucking, or he's bolting, you can stop that horse by turning off the engine.
Okay.
If you never turn the engine off and you teach them just that they can just keep doing this when you touch them on that side, that's like putting it in neutral.
Okay.
But you can still throw it right back into drive and they can take off. Here, you put them in park.
Okay.
Excellent. Give him a little rub. Let him know that this is all we're doing. We're not just kind of pushing him around, but he's really doing a great job. Go ahead and ask him to do another one. So we'll zip right through the alphabet here, I think. But without this, we don't know how we can form words, and we don't know how we can form sentences. Good. And that would be like, speaking a foreign language and in fact, there's a guy on my job site yesterday walked right up to me. He's talking Spanish and he's talking to me like a little kid that doesn't know you don't speak their language. He's just talking to me. And I'm like, I understood the word lunch.
That's it.
So we're not going to do that to the horses if we can avoid it. Right? Yeah, you're welcome. Good. Now I'm interested. Did you hear something?
His breathing?
Yeah. I just want to see how often that shows up for a certain position.
Okay.
If that shows up when you're in that space, just something to kind of keep mind of.
Okay.
Because he may have something that's going to be telling later.
Okay.
So let's see if he does it on this other side too. If that breathing comes up with you touching him on the side. He might have just been smelling something, it could have had nothing to do. And so like if see how he's anticipating what you're going to tell him. If you don't tell him, it's not a success.
Okay.
I need you to actually tell him.
Okay.
Yep, so that doesn't count.
Pay attention here, not there.
Good. So this we are explaining to him because he does understand to yield. He just doesn't understand that there's a specific yield we're looking for. Good. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so now since we sort of introduced the wiggle, we're going to go ahead and we're going to ask him to back away from us.
Okay.
Hi, handsome.
Does it matter how far? Or like
No.
how many steps?
No, we're going to do one step at a time and,
Okay.
and determine whether or not he can pick up on our idea. Yep, yep. Excellent, excellent. See how he responded to your body? Good, good. So glad that we've already done this with other horses. So that, like, as soon as you went, he went.
Yeah, he was
right?
like, what?
He got a little taller all of a sudden. He's like, uh-oh, I better, yes, ma'am. Right? And that's kind of how you want your horses to always, not fearfully, but respectfully. He totally had an immediate respect for whatever you were about to ask him to do. Okay, go ahead and ask for another step. Excellent. You are like the perfect example. Like I'm gonna do a reel of you, because like he was just like hanging out, and all of a sudden you went like this, and he was like, oh. And that's all I'm trying to teach people. I don't want to teach people to slap ropes around on their horses. I want to teach people how to say that, you know, and have the horse go, oh, okay, you know, because you just made movement. You didn't actually wiggle on him. Okay, go ahead and do another one. Good job. Excellent. Okay. And look at him asking you a question. He's like, what is this all about? I moved. What do you want? You're a good guy. Yes, I like your cute little ears.
His tiny ears.
Right? They're so
His
cute.
tiny ears.
Okay, there's a lady who shows quarter horses. I don't know if it's supposed to be, or paint horses, I think. Maybe they're quarter horses. I don't know if the horse's ears were supposed to be that small, if that's like a breed. I don't know. So, shoot me for not knowing, but they show the horse.
It's got tiny?
It's got tiny little, it's got like a Cane Corso, like somebody cut them off. They're tiny.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay. So now we're going to do rhythmic. Now, he's been really cool with us. This may turn into a little where you're going to start to see some potential offended. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask him to come back to us. So we're going to just reel him in,
okay.
you know, and that's, you know, that inviting draw, like, hey, come here. And then as soon as he's coming, you're just going to gather your rope. You're not going to pull on him anymore. Good. Okay. Nice questions. Okay, good. Now, since you said he has a little personal space problem, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and ask him to back away from you again. Then we're going to invite him back in. But this time, before he gets to where he is right now, one step sooner, we're going to stand up again and see if we can ask him to stop. Okay. This way, we're going to help him understand that even though I call you, it doesn't mean I want you on top of me.
Back him all the way?
Yeah, just because I don't think he's having trouble with it. I don't hold them back. Good job. Good job.
And then bring him in and
then bring him in and stop him, you know, like one full body length in. Make sure that he feels invited. Good. And then you're going to stand up. Good.
Sorry, buddy.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect.
He wants to.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. And now you can go to him. So what you're going to do is you're going to, that's going to help establish where you stand in leadership with him. Because if you don't go to him, but he's been wanting your affection, right? And now you telling him you can't have it, and I'm going to deprive you of it too. We don't want to do that. Okay. We want to say, I'm going to invite you, but it's on my terms. Now I'm going to come in, you know. Okay. So it'll help establish kind of that black and white of that. Okay. So the rhythmic stuff we're going to do is it's kind of like the bouncing the yoga ball on his neck. Okay. With the intention of it kind of hitting his cheek and his shoulder, and it takes up this space. And you want him to turn his head. It's going to be the beginning of teaching the turn signal. Okay. Hi. So this hand, I like to make sure that they already see this in the beginning. So I make sure that that's already, and then and this hand's going to be guiding the shoulder. Okay. And the idea is you're not going to touch him. Okay. You're going to ask him to move to that suggestion. If he doesn't move to that suggestion and you get in there, because now you're going to start encroaching in his space. It's kind of like if he's eating a flake of hay and another horse pins his ears, that's kind of this rhythmic thing. Okay. You know, or moving towards him. Then they just get, you know, in their space. So you're going to want to start getting into his space. And then once you get to him, you're going to, same rhythm that you were using in your hands, you're going to use it on him. Okay. But nothing changes. Okay. It doesn't turn into a tap, tap, push. It doesn't turn into a slap, 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 and louder, faster, faster. It's going to be the exact same thing. You're just going to basically be like, not touching you, can't get mad, right? Okay. You're just going to try to be annoying.
And is that still cheek and shoulder?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So do I start from farther away and move in?
Yep, we're going to make sure that you're standing on, so he's already worried. Did you see how he just got worried? Okay. So he's going to want to do, he's probably going to try really hard, which is awesome. I love when they get worried and then we can convince them they didn't have to be.
Okay.
Okay, so that, to me, I liked that he got worried because he didn't get like runaway panicked. He just got like, and now we get to explain it to him.
Okay.
Yep, you can go down, like that right hand can go down with him and be like, yep, and just stay on his cheek. Watch his eye though. So if anything, if you want to go lower onto like the nose band, so that,
down here?
There you go.
Okay.
So this way you don't risk poking him in the eye. Yep, and keep going. Oh, till you get that step you're looking for. Yep, that's good enough.
Okay,
good, because he felt like he put in a big effort, and then you did reward it by stopping. So we're just going to give him that one, but we're going to look for a little more particular this time. Watch his eye.
Oh gosh, sorry, buddy.
Yep, excellent, good. Give him a little rub so he knows that we're not just being kind of jerky. Yep, excellent. Yeah, good. So we will have to fix the forward, but I'm not going to get that particular about it right now. Only because he responds to your turn signal on his nose.
Okay.
I haven't seen you have to touch his nose since the first time he blinked it away, right?
Yeah.
So now he's like, oh, I get that. And now he just has to know to follow his feet to follow that. So I'm not that upset with him going forward. But if you feel you can, just kind of give him a little wiggle.
Okay.
To let him know that, but it's not about going forward also. This is about a stationary movement. That's probably an oxymoron there. Stationary movement. I don't know. I think that's more about him trying to smell me. Good. And then stay with it. When he takes, you just fill in that space. Yep. And the idea of starting a little farther out is so he sees it coming. This way he can actually respond to the hand gesture, because you're installing the cue is what you're doing.
Okay.
Right? The cue is going to be a turn signal, but we have to install it, and this is how we define it for him. Excellent. Good job. Good boy. So I would say he's never seen that this way before.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that he's not going to pick up on it. It may look like something he's seen before, but he does have some kind of education that he's letting us know that, I'm not starting in nursery school. I might be in first grade.
Okay. Do you want me to do that one more time?
Yep. Okay. Always do successful threes.
Okay.
So like if he messes up bad this time, then it's not, yep. I love how he already knows. Yep. Excellent. Good job. And you know what I liked about that? You know me well enough now to know what I probably liked about that.
So I didn't have to touch him?
Well, that, yeah, but
I don't know. I feel like he knew what I was asking.
That he actually questioned how much.
Okay.
Did you see how he questioned how much?
No, not really.
That second foot, when you took off the pressure and said, that's right, he had this foot still back here.
Okay.
And then he's like, should I finish it?
Okay.
Right? So he didn't know if he was going to make a mistake. So sometimes when they're slow and hesitant, it's a question.
Okay.
That was a question. He wasn't 100% sure he was supposed to finish that. But he didn't he didn't get exaggerated in any way. I liked that. Because that means he's really wanting to know what you want.
Okay.
Like that's how I learn what the horse is going to give us. And he's going to give us a lot. So I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by this horse.
So the other, you want to do that from the other? Okay, let's see. Get my life together.
Yeah, and remember, different eye, different horse. He may not have as easy of a time on this side because to him it doesn't look the same. And now if he were to turn into your tap can be more stern.
Okay.
On the turned in. Like if he was giving away and then he comes back, you can be more deliberate. And I like to go with them when they do something like that, as opposed to stopping and pulling their head forward or pulling their head back up, because I like to convince them, you can't evade me.
Okay.
Right? No matter what you try here, I'm going to keep asking. Good. And you can stop on that one. Good. Because that was a behind. Oh. He doesn't not like you.
I guess he's just different than my other one. Sorry.
From what I'm getting from him so far is that he's kind and been misunderstood.
Is this like how geldings are? Maybe I'm just not used to the gelding.
Is it because he's just kind of mellow?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you took a whole body part away.
Yeah, it's just weird to me that horses.
No, I mean he's a quarter horse and he's chill, so he's kind of got both things going for him. But he's kind. He's very kind. Good boy.
Can we do one more?
I like the genuinely kind ones.
Oops. Oops.
Which is probably what you're not used to, because girls aren't genuinely kind. Good.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten lucky. I have 2 genuinely kind mares, but one, she'll fight for her cause. If she thinks she's right, boy, you're in for a fight. Okay, so now the hindquarter ones, so you know how to do the hind yields.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is an introduction, since now you're doing it a little differently with your horse or the other horses. You're going to do it where you're like, something just land in your tail?
Okay.
And then you're going to be like, oh, I'll get it if I have to, right?
Okay.
So you're going to show him, like, I got the fly swatter, don't you worry.
Okay.
And then you're going to be like making energy out here, and then you're going to allow that rope to get bigger by opening your hand, and then that rope can eventually touch his butt if necessary. Okay. I don't want to see you go down his body. Like, this isn't, like, if he's standing like this, you don't go down his body to do this. You're going to go out.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, boy. Yeah, this isn't his first rodeo. Not at all. Good boy. You could probably have a lot of fun with him.
I don't have anything for you, though.
Good. 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 Okay, we'll go ahead and do the other side. So, real quick.
Okay.
What did you do that I would probably say was too much?
Where I'm standing in this.
Right. You already came in yelling.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't say, I got the fly swatter in my hand.
Okay.
You didn't say, hey, did a fly just land in your tail? You said, let me get it. Right. So we want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt first before we come in already yelling at him.
Okay.
Because he doesn't need it.
Sorry. Got a little overzealous.
Yep. So now we're going to look for a little bit more of a specific turn.
Okay.
But go ahead and tip his nose slightly. Step in there. Now you can show it to him a little bit more. Yep. 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 Oh, okay. So he actually has a discomfort. Has he ever showed that? He's going to have a harder time. Okay. I'm not sure which foot it is. It might be the foot, but go ahead and see. Watch. He has a physical limitation in that. So go ahead and see if he does that again. Could be just the way he was stepping just now, but he has a physical limitation. Did you notice it that time?
Which makes sense. Slightly? Is it?
I'm almost going to say stifle on this.
On this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I just always assumed it was the other one.
It could be. It could be. He could be afraid to cross over in front of it.
Okay.
He could be afraid of hitting it himself. If it's a sore, he may be afraid of actually making contact with it.
Okay.
But I'm going to say it feels more like there's an actual physical discomfort in that movement. He could have a hip problem. He could have a stifle problem. It could be even a hock problem. But
I know his hock on the other side is, we did x-ray that and it's not. I don't know if we did a stifle. I know we did his hock at least on the other side. And yeah, there were some changes to it. Which she was like, we can come back and inject it later if you like you know, want to do something with him, but we didn't. I don't think we did this one. I can't remember. But
yeah, I
know
mean,
that
it's
one.
not bad. It's just like, you know, so
Something.
it's telling. He,
Okay.
you know, he just said, I want to do it, but oh, let me see him do it again because I want to see if I can pick out where it
Okay.
is specifically. That's not actually as bad. Try one more time. Let me see if he does it again. Keep going. I need to see the. Keep going. So he's avoiding crossing. All right. I mean, it's not too bad. I don't know. He definitely showed some kind of physical limitation, but he's not showing me where. Okay.
You stoic. You stoic boy.
So.
Guys.
That's your ABCs, you know.
Okay.
We can teach him about going out on the circle, and we can teach him about the different gates.
Okay.
And that'll help also explain to him that we are, you know, in charge of your feet. Okay. That's pretty much like how you establish leadership with a horse, is proving to them that you're in charge of their feet. But you don't have to do it in a, you know, like cowboys will tie horses' feet, you know, to, okay, I don't want to, sorry I said that about cowboys. I don't want to stereotype, but hobbles are commonly used in cowboy training, and it's because they want to prove to them that I have control of your feet. Okay, so we have a oh well, we have to do a from in front of him steer. So we want to be able to tell him to cross his front legs over.
Okay.
Because we're going to choose a direction.
Okay.
So we're going to teach him about steering from in front of him. Okay, so go ahead, and it's the same thing. It's like you're telling him to go out on the circle. You're going to point back there, and you're going to support the shoulder.
Oh wait, you want me to go this way?
Oh, I don't care which way.
Okay.
Whichever way he's getting it. Like I said, this isn't this horse's first rodeo.
Thank you. But see, I like his default is like, okay, I'm just going to come in and to you, which I'm like, that's nice, but that's not.
And that's because maybe he wants to make sure that it's clear. Good boy. Good.
Good job.
Good. You're okay. You're okay. So that, see how his ears are? He's like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. He tells us a lot. He's definitely a very good communicator. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring him more towards the center so he doesn't get worried about where he's supposed to be trying to go, because there he got worried about where he was supposed to go. Okay. Go ahead and ask him to go the same direction. We're not going to ask him to leave. We're just going to try to make sure that he feels us take our pressure off so that he knows he doesn't have to leave.
Sorry, hold on.
Be really careful with how much support you give him, with the volume of that support, because he is sensitive to that.
Nope.
It's okay. Nope. It's okay, buddy.
You're okay. This way. That one.
Yep.
Good.
You
don't have to go
anywhere. It's okay. Don't get mad at him for it. He doesn't know. And I know you're not getting mad at him, but don't even correct it.
Okay.
Just let him go.
Okay.
He's not wrong for not knowing the answer. So we it's our job to teach him that there was So now he's starting to get worried. You see how all his energy is changing?
Yeah.
You're okay, buddy. This is what I would call, this is where the hole in his training is.
Okay.
Right? I know, it's okay. So he basically said all this other stuff. I'm pretty cool with that. I know how to do this, and yeah, I know how to do this, and oh yeah, I can do this too. But now that we're asking him to do something more elaborate with his feet, he's worried.
Okay.
Probably was like running around pen or run on a lunge line, and it never made sense to him.
Okay.
And now he just doesn't. He's worried that that's going to be a repeat of his life.
Okay.
Okay. So that's kind of what just happened. So what we're going to do is just going to explain it to him. So we're going to explain to him that we're not asking him to go anywhere. And how you're going to do that is you're going to try to drop your energy as fast as you can. So you're going to say, hey, I need you to go over there. Oh, you know what? I changed my mind.
Okay.
And you're going to want to make sure that it's like a go? No. So that way he doesn't get worried. Because if you stay holding your breath, he's going to be like, I think I'm supposed to be doing something.
Okay.
Okay. We don't want him to feel any residual tension. You're all right. And in fact, I'm glad you just did that. Why did you do that?
Because he looked in the right direction, but I didn't want to push him.
Good. So I'm actually glad you did that, because where he's having the hardest time is what to do with his feet. But we also need him to know where to point his nose. So I'm glad that you did that. You said, you know, hey, it's easy. It's easy. We're going to take it down a step. Good. So that was the right, that was a very, that's why I told you, man, I'll get you good with people. I didn't want to work with people either. The heck? Oh. It was like he was flying.
Scared my chickens.
According to the shadow, I was like, oh my God, what's climbing on my head? Good. If he leaves, it's okay. Here comes a bomber too. Does he freak out about the bombers? I mean, he should, but does he? It's on his back.
Can you get it? I'm sorry. Get it. Did you get it? I guess so.
You're all right, buddy. That was interesting too. What did you pick up on from that, do you think?
Like when I started to go towards him,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
But it's not that he didn't like it, he was afraid.
He was scared, yeah.
He was afraid that he wasn't responding properly. He was afraid of the consequences to not respond properly. It's okay. It's okay. So now just hind yield him to tell him, hey, I wasn't saying good. Good. And then he's going to ask you a lot of questions, and I hope that you guys can establish your personal space thing, but I hope that every time he asks you questions like that, you're going to help him. Because that's all confidence. He's begging to know he did a good job.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and ask him to go ahead and go that direction one more time and see if, take down the energy a tiny bit. And now ask just with your hand again so that he knows there's a little bit more. And then drop again. Excellent.
Oh boy. I feel like, should I go up and pet him? I don't want to.
Go, just do it almost like you're not trying to look at him.
Okay.
Good.
I don't want to scare him.
Well, you know what you could do is try to establish what I always try to establish with horses, is putting your hand on his forehead.
Okay.
And he'll start asking you for that specifically. And that'll help also continue to create a personal space, right? Because if you always go into his personal space, he's going to still believe that that's part of the deal. But if you say, hey, that's just an acknowledgement. You can turn it into a rub, but not all horses like to have their forehead rubbed.
Okay.
But they all like that connection.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the energy that comes out of your hand goes to their, goes to their heart through their head or whatever. I'm not sure. But there is something about that they'll ask you to touch them on the forehead, especially when they're trying to figure something new out. Okay. Go ahead and ask him for that again.
Okay.
And do it just as quietly as you had to. And you are slightly he may go because of the position you're in.
Okay.
And that's only because you're more in a pushing position now than a guiding position, right? Do you feel like you're in a pushing position?
Come back
right now,
here.
your position is on his shoulder. Even though you're telling him everything, your body is projecting at his shoulder.
Okay.
So if he were to suddenly leave, I would make him wrong for that. But right now, I'd like you to be directly in front of him.
Okay.
Because we're looking for him to understand we're just talking to your feet.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead and hind yield him so he knows he didn't have to leave. And then what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to talk you through it first, and then you can just do it, because it's kind of I can't like tell you to do it in the moment because you'll scare him. You're going to ask him to go, and then you're going to hind yield him if he starts to leave.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're going to ask him for the crossover, but if he starts to leave, you're going to hind yield him right away.
Okay.
And then you're going to right away ask for the front feet again.
Okay.
So you're going to kind of do it in a, no, I just need your front, oh, darn. Darn.
Okay.
Right? Until it's just his front feet, and then you're going to go.
Okay.
And then you're going to go touch him.
Okay.
Right? So that's the only way you're going to be able to explain it to him, that it's really has nothing to do with moving. Nothing to do with forward motion, I should say. Oh, that was a lot. Good. Good. And then go right back to asking for the front feet. Wiggle him out of your space. We're not going to let him have that check-in yet because it's not what you want.
Nope.
Because it's also going to make it's excellent. Now go love on him. I don't want to say it's going to make your love conditional, but it is going to make your love slightly conditional, right? You're going to say, oh, just because you got unconfident and whatever, I'm not going to love on you every time.
Okay.
I'm still looking for something. And if I keep taking my focus off of what we're trying to do by loving on you, we're not going to get anywhere.
Okay.
Right? But your love can definitely come in a moment like that.
Okay.
Good. Good. Yes. Good. Good.
Okay.
And it's what's nice is that he asked the question and you had an answer, and that's the most important part. When he came into you and you said, no, that's not what I want you to do, it's okay. Hind yield. So we're just going to kind of make it like, ah, oh, darn, let's try again. Oh, darn, try again. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Can you have a little more?
Yep. Probably too much. So he's trying to figure out that energy. So try not to, we're going to just hold the rope out, if anything.
Okay.
Because it's too much, I think.
One more. One more. You're okay.
It's okay.
This will get you straight.
It's okay. You're okay. So that's a little evasion there.
Okay.
So we don't want to give him too much energy now. Okay, go ahead. Go let him know he did a good job. Even though it was kind of forward, it still was forward in the direction you were looking for. And again, we're going to try to stay directly in front of him.
Okay.
It's just going to help him understand it's
Should we
just
come back
about
to the center a little bit?
the direction of his feet. I like him. He's another penny to me. He wants so badly to erase everything he didn't understand. He wants to be like the adult learner, you know? Wants to learn this. Yep, 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 yep. Yep. Hind yield, hind yield. So we're almost going to kind of, I don't want to scare him, but we're going to kind of jump in there with that hind yield right away.
Quicker.
Yep. Be like, ah, I didn't say leave. Okay. But without being corrective. More being like, ah, darn. Yep. Yep. Hind yield. So even faster than that.
Okay.
As soon as you see him starting to leave, try to hind yield him to stop.
Okay.
And this will also help you with your one rein stop eventually, where the hind yield means stop. Yep. So we're going to do it quickly, but without trying to startle him.
Okay.
Sorry, bud. Good. Yep. 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 Right back to the front. Yep. Yep. Hind yield. So he's still a little timed off on the hind yield. It's okay. Just when, yeah, you're okay, buddy. When you see him start to leave, can you tell when he's thinking about leaving? Right there?
Now.
So you'll feel it in his hind end.
Okay.
If you see his hind end start to say, I'm leaving, we're going to try to turn his hind end off.
Okay.
I guess it might be helpful to see it that way.
I know.
You're right. There. It's okay. He's worried. Did you see him get worried?
Yeah.
And then he kind of was like, oh. And it might have been because you were possibly holding your breath a little bit, like in anticipation to what you're going to have to do next. Yep. Almost. Good, good. We'll go ahead and give him that one. It was kind of forward, but we're going to give him that one. So I'm just going to show you kind of how, like not how quickly, but how, directly it's going to be. So I'm going to tell his tail to move. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to just his front end. If he moves his head, I'm going to say, you're right. I'm going to give him a little. Good. See how I prepared him that if you take those back steps, I'm going to do something with those back feet. Good. So I'm going to have you do it that way.
Okay.
So basically what if you kind of say front end, hind end, front end, hind, then he's going to get ready and he's going to try to, you'll be able to freeze the.
Okay. I guess I can't turn you into the fence. Get it?
And be careful when you do the pull on the nose that you're not going to pull them to you because then you're going to make them wrong for coming into your space. And then go right back to it. Yeah. Yeah. Good. We're going to give him that one. What I'm looking forward to is him not to automatically, because he automatically disconnects and puts his head kind of up in a, I hope I'm doing this right. Right? Watch how he does that, because what he'll do is when he's, like when he stopped that time, he had that look in his face like, I hope this is right.
Okay.
Right? So we want him to actually, well, what's going to help us create the bond with him is we're going to get him to where he's going to be like, did I do it right? You know, he's going to ask you the questions instead of, and then a smile can answer his question, you know. Yep. 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 Good. I'm glad you took the energy down a little bit because he's seeking the answer there, right? Yep. Good. Good. Because he's starting to believe it has nothing to do with his back feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and get back in front of him, and we're going to, even though that was only a step forward, we're going to see if we can't get that crossover. See if you give him a little backward energy with your body, so we can see if we can cross over from behind there. Excellent.
Okay.
Yes. See how you just used your body to tell him what to do with his? And it's really that easy. Once you start picking up on all of that stuff, it just makes being around horses so cool. So you can do that same thing, give him a little backward energy and direction, and it'll help him cross that hind foot, that front foot behind the other front foot. Yep, give him a little more backward energy. Excellent. Good job. You can go tell him he's doing a good job. Good. And you'll see his eyes immediately softened. Like, oh, thank you. I needed that. Good. Okay, so we're going to try to go the other way.
Okay.
It's a little bit different when with the whole different eye, different thing, different horse. It's a little bit different when you're dead on them. You know, sometimes that information's pretty easy to transfer. I did a video with Tucker this morning, and he transferred the over to the other side all by himself.
Wow.
Like, yes, you're going to be an easy horse to train. Because that's a big deal to be able to do the over the other direction all by himself. Yep. Yep. Good. 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 Tell him he did a good job. So that was cool too. What do you think that just told you?
That he's understanding it? That he transfers it?
Yes.
That he...
Yes.
I guess one and the same?
He's putting it all together?
Yeah.
Right? So he's a thinker.
Okay.
Right? That's awesome. He's not just necessarily a reactor. He's a thinker.
Okay.
And that's awesome, because then you can really like do some pretty intricate things with him. You could probably do a lot of cool, you could probably even turn him into a trick horse if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to give him kind of a fun job. Because a horse that thinks is a horse that you can really be like, you can really narrow down your requests out of him. Okay.
The other way. The other way.
Yeah.
There you go.
There. Good. Oh, did you see him? He's like, did I do it? Did I do it? And he's holding his breath. See, this looks boring as hell if you're just watching it. But to me, this is, I love watching them communicate with us.
Sorry.
Yep. So you're just going to say, oh, no, that's the wrong way. No, 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 you're wrong. Yep. Good. Good.
Oh, boy.
Two things happened there. He went into autopilot,
nope.
Right? He's like, this way, and then when you said no, he's like, oh, okay, then I guess, and he's like, wait a minute, you're talking to me, right? Did you see all that happen?
Yeah.
He immediately went into autopilot. Now I guess I'm supposed to go.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then he
wait.
came back.
Okay, that's cool. I like him.
All right. I want it more of a. I feel like it more of a cross, though, right?
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
But it took him so long to figure out it had nothing to do with his back feet that I've been kind of. Yep.
No, don't come to me. I know. I'm sorry, buddy.
So now in a case like that, since we have personal space issues, and he came into your space, you didn't move out of his space, which I'm glad, except for then you moved, but that's okay. But I would have said, hey, this is the other thing we're working on, and I would have made him take that step he took towards me back away.
Okay.
Right? Just kind of maintain that. No, this is my space.
Okay.
Yep, and then just keep telling him what you do want. Yep, he's asking, but that's okay. Yep, he's a little worried. That's okay. And now he's a little worried again.
Sorry.
It's okay. I don't think he did anything wrong there. I think he got a little worried.
Back up one. Back up one. Back up one more. There you go. No, all the way.
So you didn't get him to cross behind.
Get him to cross behind?
Cross the right
Okay.
behind the left. You can still do it.
Oh.
It's okay. But that was still a beautiful crossover, so we'll give it to him. And that might have been all you had to do anyway. Maybe just because you weren't giving him enough lean back energy, that's why he was going forward and not giving you good steps. But see if you can get him to actually rock behind.
Okay.
Make sure when you took your step back towards you, that could have been miss. Good. And there he did another one of those slow. Okay. Good job. So when you went like this to make your point, I don't want to slap him. I don't think he's a slappable horse, is he? Oh.
Oh, dang it.
I
should have crushed it.
I was hoping it was going to land over here. Shoot. I was saying something.
Well, I went forward and then I came back as I was talking about.
Right. So when you made your punctuation and then you took it back, right?
Yeah, because I didn't think I did it at the right time.
Well, and you didn't think he heard you, right? But the problem is that what he could have heard was this. What is that?
Like come
right.
Okay.
So you want to be careful when you there's our yawns. When you undo. I know, right? We got in there. It's good. It's good stuff. When you undo a punctuation, be careful that you didn't just say something completely opposite of what you were hoping for.
No, we're not going to eat just yet. I'm going to get you to do at least one more.
Yep. Good. And he asked, if I'm being honest, that we are at the end anyway, I would end on that one.
Okay.
Because that had so much to it. It had, I'm distracted, oh, I'm paying attention, autopilot, and then he's like, oh, wait, no. And you saw him get into a thinking mode, and then you saw him do it, and then you saw him go, is that right? Everything he did there was exactly how the kind of frame of mind you'd want to leave a horse in.
Okay.
Good boy. I like him.
Good boy.
You don't want to be just a pasture puff, buddy. You want to do some cool stuff. Yeah, he's like the horse you could teach to go fetch something for you. And...
I got him. I was really hoping I could picture a small little child up on him.
I don't doubt it.
And I was like, I think that you would be the perfect little, because he's always, like I said, the first day he was following me around like a puppy dog. I was like, this horse is way too like chill for him to be busting through fences and running away. And I mean, I don't put it past him, depending on the situation he was in. But I was just like, I don't know. I just saw a tiny human on him. But like I said, he's a gelding. He's just weird to me. I'm like,
see.
Everyone loves geldings.
I prefer
and I'm just like, are you broken? Like, why are you just standing here? Yeah.
Why don't you have a personality? Like, why don't you have an attitude?
Yeah, I'm used to Trona. Who's like,
yeah. Why aren't you really speaking your attitude? if you were to search a home for him, one of the questions I would ask somebody is, are you somebody that picks a scab a lot? Like, I know somebody who can't stand like seeing something that needs to be picked at. He's definitely not, that's not the home you want him in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there's people like that. Like, I know somebody who will pick a horse's chestnut so deeply that they'll make them bleed because they can't stop the obsession of trying to pick at it. And that's something somebody would want to pick at.
Yeah.
You know, so that if you did look for a home, I would just be like, look, you know, like, you understand you can't pick, this isn't something we're going to pick off.
No.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, my vet basically was like, the next step would be New Bolton. But I mean, I don't know. I think as long as they, knock on wood, stay like this, I think they're manageable. Because,
the sun, did they say the sun interferes or
no, I mean, possibly flies, you know, with the flies like getting on there and stuff. I try to keep whatever I put on it, he just goes and rubs off immediately. That's part of why it's like red, because in his hay, he'll rub it in the hay, he'll rub it on the other horses, like, so I don't know if it's itchy, but it doesn't, you can touch it and everything. He doesn't seem like too bothered by it, so I don't know.
There's a like it's an antibiotic cream or whatever, but it's called Tricare. It's by Farnham, and it's in a yellow. When you see it at the, let's say at Tractor Supply, it's in like a triangular box, and it smells mentholated.
Okay.
And it keeps the flies away.
Okay.
And it's a cream, so it really.
Okay. Does it stay on better than SWAT?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't think SWAT stays on that well sometimes.
And I've never seen good luck with SWAT. I have people who use SWAT. I'm like, is that working, you think? Because like their horses' bellies be all eaten alive, and I'd be like, I don't see how that's been an effective way to go. And this, you can actually outline, like I've done it, where you've outlined just the edges of the ears, and it keeps the flies out of their ears. You don't have to smear it in their ear. You can just draw the lines of their ears. Hi, I like you. I like you. Yeah, I do. Oh, all right, buddy. You ready?
Let's go.
Cool. I like him.
Kev, get out of here, you nasty. You need some lotion. You're crusty. Come on, bud. Oh, wait, I have her. Hurry. We'll just hurry. Gotta get her back there. Her microphone.